I tell you, there are two problems, but they are also solvable. Number one is the fact that the absence of a general vision means that there is no king in Israel and every man does what is right in his own eye. That's a problem. So we are having that situation happening in government where different government parastatals and agencies, simply speaking, at cross purposes. However, which is the second part of it, my view has always been that there are two ways to respond when you want to be a real leader. If the man ahead of you who should give you direction is not giving you direction, what I have always done, everywhere I have been, is to stand in my own position and to create a positive direction of what I think will benefit everybody in terms of what I think the outcomes will be. So, if you ask me to be head of a parastatal, for example, my attitude is that parastatal we must establish a vision for that parastatal, which means what is its mission statement? What does it contribute to the nation? What is its responsibility and its role? And then I can begin in that small microcosm of that small agency, parastatal or ministry, begin to create an impactful vision that the nation can follow. I have always found out that when that happens in one place and another place, sometimes it also has, maybe answering my earlier question, and a long-term effect of creating a chain reaction of soon generating a drive for a vision nationally. So followers can still do that. But I believe that if you head on those parastatals, that's your job, to recognize that you do not have to be driven by the general environment. The general environment does not have to dictate to you what you become. You can head simple organizations. Even within government, you've seen that. There are agencies that everybody finds themselves, take the, whatever everybody criticized about the last government, Jonathan's government, everybody praised the agri sector as it was going under Adesina at the time. Everybody said, in fact, even my friends in APC said that if there was one, that's why the president supported him to become ADB chief executive. So,
I think we'll come back and take a closing moment from you, and that's after this break. The way forward is what we'll be looking at for the year, having highlighted some of those issues in 2016. You were actually talking about some of those key men in the last administration of President Goodluck Jonathan, specifically the Agri Minister and a few others, which you said were fantastic in the discharge of their duties. We should, at the end of this administration, be talking about some other fantastic minds if we're to go the way you've highlighted. Tell us more of how best to kick off the year now, speaking to the ministers and even Nigerians.
I think the first thing that we should do, we've identified the problems, but let's deal with the solutions. The first thing we should do is, number one, recognize that we haven't done well enough. Because if you don't do that, you can't solve the problem. The second thing that you should do is we should set up clear-cut goals and targets and visions of what we want to do. Each minister can do that. I would actually ask that Mr. President should demand that it be done and collated, because I think it's actually the buck should start from him. Then the third thing is to establish for ourselves, both as individuals, because the year is just starting, so let's not just talk to government. Establish KPIs, or let me use simple English, key performance indicators, things that let us know when we are doing well and when we are doing badly. Establish them and be willing to spend a few days doing what I call the rigorous process. One of our biggest challenges as a nation, and this affects government but also affects us as individuals, is that we are not a people of great rigor. We like to, Nigerians say we are action men, and when we mean action men means we don't think. I don't think thinking and action are opposites. I think they should work together. So what we probably need to do as a people is to say to ourselves, whether you are in a ministry, you are in government, or you are at the top of the situation, and say, look, all right, can we think through the processes that will help us achieve our objectives? Which means you have to establish the objectives. And then finally you have to now determine who are the stakeholders that need to be brought on board. For example, one of the reasons why there is such a prevalence of insecurity and kidnapping and all manner of things, it's not just because the Nigerian is a bad man looking for cheap money. Usually those things actually become prevalent when the people have no hope. When people have no hope, there's a lot. Have you noticed that if you announce the end of the world today, some people will run to churches and mosques to pray, but a large number of people will go looting, and there will be a breakdown of law and order consistently. Why? Because the people feel that there is no future. So to get them a future, you need to do a number of things. We need to, and even individually we also need to do that. Paint a picture that is beautiful, but also paint a pathway to the future that is credible. Once you can get that done, you will find people will begin to respond to what you need to do. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, when he was president of the United States, inherited the Great Depression, but turned the US around by two major simple things. And I've always told people they are interesting things. He started out by bringing in new policy. Economists down the years have said that a lot of the things he brought in that new policy, which he called the New Deal, did not deliver. But mentioned new policy gave people an impression of hope. Then secondly, he did what he called chats by the fireside. Every evening, 9:30, addressing the whole nation and telling them that they had a future, and this was their role, which must be defined and clarified. That's what you communicate. When you communicate that you have a future.
Talking about buying a leadership consultant, a fine place to leave it this morning. Many thanks for spending time with us. I was hoping that in this year, perhaps we should see more of that communication as highlighted by our two gentlemen this morning. Sunrise Daily has come to a head now. I'm Sulaiman Alede. Many thanks for watching.
I'm Nell Tagwe. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, and Happy New Year again. I'm Maokwe Ogun.